from the beginning.
Hi guys! So we are back with Mukbang with Sherry. We are at a restaurant after 2 years and I've got a very special guest. I've got my sister Anaita with me. So I feel like we've been planning this video for 3 years, pre-pandemic, and here we are.
Since we eat so much, we might as well do it this way. Yeah.
So we are at Colaba's newest hotspot, Neuma, and I've got quite a spread for you.
Thank you. I'm impressed.
Should we dig in?
Absolutely.
While I quiz you.
Quiz me. Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, so I usually start with asking my guests about their childhood and their life before they got to where they are. So I mean, you can also tell me about your childhood, pre me and post me, and how it changed.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, pre you, I mean, for a large part of my childhood, I think till I was 10, I was an only child. And I think it was quite a lonely existence. I always wondered what it would be like to have a sibling, and I always wanted an older brother, which wasn't really possible because that would be in reverse. And then of course my sisters came along, and I was in school and I was so much older, and it was quite strange to suddenly have a sibling at such an old age. But nevertheless, they were delightful, and of course Sherry was, as everyone knows, is like my first child. I think of her as a lucky star. She brings so much joy in everyone's life, and so then lots of things happened. I think like you said in many of your posts, I think some of my first styling happened on you.
On me.
Yeah, and I guess I've come a long way.
So speaking of styling, okay, for me, I feel like what you did with styling, nobody's ever done. I think you were the first stylist in the country. And I actually saw you from that point. I remember I was quite young then, but I still remember where people didn't understand what styling was, right? It was like a kind
They still don't.
Yeah. But at that time, I was like, oh, so what does she do? She's a designer. Or she's, like all of those questions used to happen. And I feel like you were the first one to kind of change that dynamic in the country.
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, I didn't know what I was doing either, right? It's just something that came naturally.
Like you were winging it.
I mean, I wasn't winging it. I knew I wanted to do something in fashion. I mean, I was always obsessed. You know how I used to tear out things from magazines and make files. But I think mom was like as unsure of my capabilities, and maybe they all thought that a more conventional job is what I should get. However, I had no such intentions or such desires. And I thought I would go to fashion school. In fact, I thought I would go to NIFT. At that time, it seemed like the best option. And she was like, no, you should become a graduate.
Now we should become a graduate.
Very
Whatever you do, become a graduate.
And the thing is, I feel like at that stage, I knew no better. So then when she said this, of course, I went to college, had the best 5 years of my life. So I thank her for that. But having said that, I didn't learn a skill. I just learned how to party hard and have a good time. I made some of my best friends then. And then I just slowly started doing what is now called styling without it actually having a structure or a reason.
Or a name.
No name or path. There was no path that I could follow. It's something that I had to create, and I'm glad because I feel it's such a unique and fun career option. I mean, you get to travel, you work with interesting, talented people, but it's a lot of hard work. It's not glam the way people, you've seen that.
So speaking of hard work, I feel like you're someone who has very strong core principles with work. Like your work ethic, I know it's very, very strong. And I feel like I got that from you somewhere because
I'm glad.
When I was starting with modeling at 16, I remember you used to give me all the, like telling me the do's and don'ts of like, for example, you were like, I'm not going to help you. This is going to be your thing. you won't like it if I help you later in life. It's better you figure your own way,
Correct.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, you know, you don't realize it when you're young. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But now, when I'm older, I'm like, okay, I'm grateful that happened because I had the chance to kind of experience my own way through it.
Yeah.
Or I remember a simple thing he used to tell me was that always put the clothes back onto the hanger and give it to the, you know, the stylist, the designer, whoever, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Respect the clothes.
Yeah.
And little things like that, you know.
But that's what's important. Till today, if I try clothes on in a store, I put the clothes back on the hanger because I'm like, that's just basic courtesy, right? I mean, and also like keep the clothes clean when you're trying them, you know, hygiene.
Yeah.
Hygiene and manners. I think they are underrated. I'm talking of hard work. Oh God. We're also told not to talk with food in our mouth, but you're making me.
This is the exception.
God, it feels so wrong. I was shooting with 2 actors yesterday, and our shoot was on the ground floor. The changing rooms were on the first floor, the costume room was on the second floor, and the studio was on the 4th floor. We had many locations. And I ran so much that when I finally sat in the car, I reached there at 9:30 in the morning, and I sat in the car at about 8 p.m. I said, oh my God, I've worked really hard and my feet were hurting, you know. And I think for me, that's never going to stop.
Yeah, I don't think you
I'm
can
never going to
stop
ever be half-assed about anything I do. If I commit to something, then it has to be done, you know, with full steam. And I feel everybody should be like that. So like I always tell my teams, like, you know, also punctuality. I mean, I'm sounding like I'm preaching here, but I'm just saying it's the truth. Be early. Leave late. It's okay, you know.
We all actually jokingly, Anaita's whole team and me call her mommy because she's like
whatever. I'm a cool mom.
The cool mom.
Yeah.
That
don't ask my sons, so they may not agree.
Keeps us all in check. But yeah, like I agree with you on the you not slowing down. I don't think you can. I don't think it's you because I've never seen you ever slow down. Other than the pandemic.
Exactly. So the pandemic was a really big learning experience, I think, for me and for us as a family. You know, we actually got to hang out because, I mean, I think I'm guilty of being a workaholic.
Yeah.
Right? I've always worked. And now when the world stopped working, I had no choice but to slow down.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate. I know a lot of people suffered, but in my case, we were very fortunate. We were away. We were outside the city. We were in nature with friends and family. And it really felt like a childhood summer holiday with your cousins. You know, like playing sports, trekking, walking, cooking, sleeping, you know, everything.
Without that worry of
without the worry. And I don't think I would ever have voluntarily done that. It helped me like realize like what I want to prioritize in my life in terms of time, even in terms of work. Like, so straight after the lockdown, I went into a film set. I went into Gheraiya, and I just felt so much more engaged in what I was doing. I loved being there. I think my connections with people were stronger. My work was better. So I feel it was a big turning point for me. And I'm happy that I got to experience it in the right way, you know.
You know, speaking of your work post the pandemic, I feel like we're seeing some of your best now. I think. Like, because as you said, I feel like you're finding yourself again in a space of comfort and doing what you really love. Like, I've always seen you love your job and, you know, like in terms of you have joy when you're around clothes and fashion. But now that you're more focused, as you said, on picking the things you really want to do, and it's not in that just a workaholic mode of like doing more. Like what you did at the Met Gala. Like, I mean, I think that was one of the most iconic, you know, things for me to see as your work. Like, I was so excited that, you know, I'm like, you've come that like such a long way.
But I have to say, for me also, it was overwhelming. I mean, I didn't realize actually the reaction of it till I came back to India. Because over there, you're still in the moment and you're saying, let me walk to the shop and let me do that. And you're so busy in New York. And then suddenly when I came back, of course, I missed hundreds and hundreds of stories that people had very kindly put up. But at least I knew that's what they were saying. And I think for once, there wasn't a debate. You know,
Yeah.
there wasn't any negativity of someone saying, "Oh, but it could have been this." Oh, you know, and always people keep saying that. I'm like, you should become a stylist if you,
Yeah.
you know, if you could
Where
do better.
there's
Please
a
do.
side that likes
you
it,
know?
a side that doesn't
Yeah.
like it.
Here, it just felt like a beautiful oneness of appreciation, which I love that people shared that. And also, I think the emotion of the whole India pride with the sari.
Yeah. I mean, I think
that
just
was
the fact that
yeah.
you put the first like sari
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I think
the
on
Met red carpet.
on the biggest
is
red
huge
carpet.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like as in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't
At
believe
least in
that
the
it's
world
not
of fashion.
happened.
Yeah.
Like it almost seemed like I was like, oh really? It's
Yeah.
like I can't believe that it's not happened.
True, very true.
No, so I feel like that for me, to see you go, as I said, like fashion director at Vogue, you know, styling people at the Met, without actually studying anything in that space is so incredible, which I think today people kind of forget because there's that focus on, oh, which college did you go to, or what did you do, or which fashion school did you go to, you know, in today's conversations.
And I think another thing, it's sad, and maybe I sound like, you know, a grandmother for saying this, but I think everybody, including myself, we all only look down now on our gadgets. We don't look up. I was fortunate to belong to a generation where we were allowed to get bored, which meant looking out of a car window. It meant staring into space and letting your imagination run wild. And I think all that has helped me to think and create from my brain, not look and copy. Like, you know, I'm bored of seeing people dressed like each other. That's not what I like to do. And I'm not looking for that. You know, that you can, any international supermodel you copy and, you know, there are 50 clones of it. That's not styling. Like I always tell designers also, like, you know, show me something new. Give me a new thought. Like, and my standard line is take my breath away. You know, like inspire me to think, oh, wow, what can I do with this?
Yeah, with you, I feel like you're just effortless. Like when it, you know, like whatever Anaita does, she's one of those annoying people that's good at everything.
I wish.
She's good at art. She's good at doing up like spaces.
I can do spaces.
Yeah, like really well. She's amazing with, like even with clothes. Yeah. I remember Anaita was the first person that took me to buy men's ganjis.
Yeah.
Because at that time, we didn't really get like these vests in India. There wasn't any like H&M or anything when I was growing up. And I still remember you were like, you know, just wear a white vest with whatever. And I was like, but you don't get them anywhere. And we went and bought Rupa white, the banyans that men wear under their shirts.
Absolutely.
And we were wearing them, you know, as just ganjis. And I think that's what I feel like. You were so ahead of your time at that point where...
Yeah, but I think it's also about just making the most of a situation, right? Wherever you are, just grab it by the horn, do whatever you have to do now. I mean, there's no point saying, oh, you know, like people say, oh, in India, nothing's available anymore. But whatever is available, work with.
That's true.
And also, I mean, I feel proud that I've been part of an evolution in Indian fashion where... For me, I've always supported the young designer, the upcoming designer. I mean, like if you think back, there was like 1 or 2 people doing costume jewelry. Now there are like 5,000. Yeah. So I'm glad to see that this industry has grown and it'll keep growing. I think we were very fortunate to be brought up by a fairly broad-minded mother. You know what I mean? Like I feel my mom was always the mom that everybody wanted to hang out with. You know, she would order in food. You know how it was, especially with your friends.
Yeah.
Who were very happy.
Open household and like everyone was welcome and there was
and then I think also, I mean, for me with, you know, being a daughter and all that, there was none of that. Yeah. Like you can't wear this, you can't wear that. I mean, you know, none of that. It was all like, be who you are. I mean, till today I find it difficult to wear sleeves.
When we kind of grew up like as an adult, today I realized that difference. Like at that point, it just seemed normal that this is how... You know, that the whole, as you said, like, oh, you're a daughter, or you're a son, and all of that. Like, we never heard those things growing up. So, I'm going to give you a chance to eat, and I'm very nervous, but I'm going to allow you to ask me a question.
Ask you a question.
Have anything to ask me.
Okay. I have some questions to ask you. When you started off doing what you want, it didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
No one really knew what blogging or vlogging or any of that was. I mean, it's taken me years to actually come to terms with the fact that it's a career. How did that feel? Like, did you feel like you had to fight to do what you were doing? Like, what was it like?
I mean, I think I had to fight to make money for sure because it wasn't like, I think the first couple of years there were no brand deals or anything. It was just me organically creating my own content. And then getting free stuff. I mean, which was great in the beginning, but then after a point you're like, okay, because I also started it after modeling and I was an adult. I was like, now I need to earn through this. If I love it and it's what I want to do. So I think getting brands to kind of bite that bait and realize that this is a full-blown profession and that people need to be paid for the content,
the service and content,
etc. That was the tough part because I think it took a few like I'd say 6 months to a year of saying no to free stuff and kind
while
of
the whole world was saying yes, to
kind of be like, I deserve this. Like either you pay me or I'm not doing it. While I create my organic content, which is fine. So that was the tough part, I think, because today people see it as easy money or think, oh, it's so easy. You put one picture and you get whatever.
True.
But
it was the process that was...
the process of years to get to that point was tough. And also, I think for me, the hardest was explaining to people what I'm doing. I mean, at that time, I was so like, like I remember even you asked me many times.
Many times.
So are you going to make money? How's it going to work? What is the deal? Like,
how are you going to run your house?
Who are you talking to? Like who are these people you're making these videos for? Who watches it? I think until the first fan fest where you came to watch me. I think that's when you're all like, mom, dad, you were like, okay, this is something.
It's
like,
legit.
It's legit.
She's legit.
She
has a job.
There are people watching her and she's not making this up.
True.
So I think even like though no one was going to stop me or say don't do it. But in the sense of to convince people.
So you too had to find a path for this career to exist in a sense, right? And I have another question to ask you because it's something I think about a lot. Like for me, social media came to me at an older age, right? I feel I was already who I was. My personality was already developed. Do you feel that because of there's so much judgment, right? Likes, dislikes, comments saying you're so thin, you're so fair, you're so whatever. How does that work on your psyche? Like how does that work on maintaining your mental health?
So initially I felt like you can be, I mean, there's either two sides to it. Either you're very bothered by it, or you kind of learn to deal with it.
What does that mean?
For me, I got into that process of learning to deal with it in my own way. Where if I feel there's a conversation that needs to be had, I will call out that person, as you've seen very often, where I post or with my hair when people just didn't, get that I could like short hair. To explain that this is not cool. Like you can't bully a person into just being like, okay, because you're in the public eye, you should have long hair, for example. That's my decision. Or, otherwise with things, if it's just random hate where people just tell you, okay, it's not personal, you learn to ignore it and just let it slide. But I think in the larger space, you have to become thick-skinned because if you're looking at doing this, like for me now, it's been like 10 years since I'm doing this. Initially, I would be bothered with that one bad comment on a video, even if there were 200 great comments, that one would be like, why is this person saying this about me? But then I think with time, also you can't explain to each person or justify, right? Like that's something I think I've learned where you can't keep saying, okay,
I want to though. I constantly want to.
But then it ends up being like, I think then like this war of, where you're just comment after comment after.
But I just don't like people being mean. I feel it's so unnecessary, right? Like, everybody has enough problems in the world. It would be so nice if we could all just like decide that, guys, if you want to say something positive, if you want to say something constructive, I don't think you should only say good things. You can say, hey, I think you chose the worst bag for that look or whatever. Make it constructive. No problem. Everybody's entitled. But to say something mean and personal about people, and I find it very hurtful. And I feel that
unnecessary.
The whole subject, why do they have to deal with that? It's not,
and also I think very often there are all these assumptions people have about you or me. Like people assume we're rich. I mean, that's a constant assumption of like,
I don't think anyone presumes I'm rich.
Like, like it's not like people would be like, now why couldn't you go abroad to study? It's because we couldn't afford it. Like, it's not that was the reality of it. So I think that whole space people don't get. Like they just see you as where you are today and think that
this dish has rekindled my love for cauliflower.
It's kind of in that space of, okay, you know, she hangs with the stars, she styles the stars, she's one of them.
Not at all.
You know, like that whole angle. So that's the thing. I feel like it's just like very surface level, and then people will comment on that without really knowing, you know, your story, your struggles, or that you've been doing this for so many years, and that you had no friends in the industry that got you in, or even now, you know, like
no. I mean, I have to say that everything that I started purely on merit.
Yeah.
I do have friends now in the industry, but I'm hoping if at all they ever do give me work, it is because they think I'm good at what I do, not for any other reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
So that's what I think that, you know, unless like obviously people watching here now will know more of your story, but I feel like a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
They've just seen you as this huge stylist, and it's like, okay.
Half my education, like when you were saying you're not educated, I think my education is travel.
Yeah.
Travel has been my education. Like, you know, just being out there, looking at people. And then, you know, I've become a bit like a fashion magpie. I take something from someone, ideas. You know, when I'm doing a film, you know, it could be modeled on someone I know. It could be a friend. It could be an acquaintance. It could literally be someone I saw walking on the road. So if you look at my phone, I have like, I think, over 100,000 pictures, and that's why it keeps collapsing. I think after a point, it's like, but my language is visual. I'm not good with words. And I'm going to keep my day job.
Another thing I want to tell you guys about Anaita that you don't know is she's really frugal. Even after all these years, queen of DIY, frugal.
Absolutely.
Her children still have DIY parties like
absolutely.
I did.
Yeah, totally.
And Anaita will always question before buying anything. Like, I mean, like, you know, even though you work in fashion, I've never seen you go out and be like, I want this designer bag, or you'll be like, I should save this money, or you know.
I mean, for me, it's all about value for money. I believe in that, and I'm only frugal with myself. I feel if I were to have to buy somebody else something, I don't think twice about it. But for myself, I question. I'm like, do I really want it? Do I really need it? And then I'll do something stupid like spend probably as much, but buy 20 things that I, you know, so there's no logic. I think it's something I need to work on.
But that was one of your things when you were younger. I remember you used to tell me this, that like obviously not when you just started working. Anaita used to always give me many gifts on my birthday, like little things. And she used to always say, isn't it more exciting to get many things than get one big thing?
I'm still like that.
And I think that's, you know, like she's still in that space of, even with the boys, I feel like you're very like, you know, do you need it? Should you get it? Like, it's not like, okay, now, you can get whatever you want.
No, I always say that thank God I had sons, because if I had daughters, I'd be poor. I'd be buying every accessory, every outfit, matching shoes, bag. Whereas these boys are very much like their dad. They want very little. I mean, my son is still happier to wear torn pajamas and says, who needs new ones? And I'm like, because we see you. But yeah, so I'm glad that I've you know, have children that are not greedy or needy in that sense. But I think I'm changing, because I learned the value in craftsmanship. I understood the value of investing in something that has longevity.
Right.
So that's changing. But I mean, for me, I'm happiest going to a supermarket abroad and buying like one of this, one of that. So I mean, in that sense, small things make me happy. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It definitely doesn't have to be extravagant.
Speaking of kids, I've always admired the way you brought up Zayn, the way you kind of not worked, or like, you know, they kind of taken that, like, I remember he was barely a few months old.
Yeah.
And you were back to shooting, taking him with you everywhere.
I mean, I shot a cover when I had a 2-week-old baby. Yeah. But from home. I mean, I didn't leave.
But still, I mean,
I
feel like that's something you've always been very particular about personally, where you were like, you know, I'm going to be a good mom, but I'm also going to not.
True. But having said that, I want to go back on that. Like, I don't advise what I did necessarily. I feel it's good to take like your 3 months or now 6 months people get for maternity leave. We only got 3. And enjoy that time, like relax, recuperate, exercise, give your body and mind what it needs to cope with having a child. I just feel it's also good to take that time out. And
no,
not
but even
rush
now,
everything.
I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
when they were born,
Yeah,
but just
now
even
for
now,
sure.
I feel like you,
Yeah.
like you've taught them to manage their own
No,
stuff.
absolutely.
And you're like, I'm on shoot, I'm like traveling, I'm here, I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you've got that balance really well.
Yeah, but I also think that comes from having an extremely supportive husband. I think earlier, we always, Homi and I tried not to travel together on work.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we do because they're older, and of course we have the best, touchwood, staff in the world, their family, and it's an extension of what we do with the kids. They apply the same philosophy. Of course, they spoil them a little bit more, but that's allowed. Also grandparents that pitch in, and aunt that pitch in very occasionally till she got a dog, because now she can't leave the dog, so my children are neglected. Let me tell you all this, okay, loud and clear. Yeah, so I think it's everything that works. But I think for me what was very important is that I'm no different to a man. Women and men are the same. So if I have a career and I like working, I will working. So what if I gave birth to you? Parents have equal responsibility. And I think that's how our household runs. I think it's important to give your kids grounding, and also they are very fortunate, right? They're born in where actually they've had beautiful opportunities of travel, and they get literally what they want, even though they may not want a lot. But the fact is that they still you have to instill that value of work ethics. And I mean, I ain't leaving them much. If they want to go abroad or whatever, they've got to figure out a way. I did. So, that's just how it is. Find your path. I'll help you, but I won't do it for you. So, yeah.
Okay, are you ready for the rapid fire on the dessert? Are
Okay,
you
yeah, sure.
Okay, are you ready, Anaita?
I am. I might just have my mouth full, but I'm ready.
The thing you love most about fashion?
It's my way of expressing things. So I just love the fact that I have a freedom of expression. I can do what I want. I can work with who I want and create. Yeah. So,
favorite current fashion trend?
Favorite current fashion trend for me is this whole return to the power of resort wear. I mean, as you can see, we're both in dresses and prints. So I love resort wear, and I love vacay style. So that's the current trend that I'm crushing on.
Okay, one piece of fashion advice that works for literally anybody.
Most of us tend to look in the mirror before we leave and we check this and all. Turn around and check what the back of you also looks like. Sometimes, I've seen so many people wearing like floral underwear with like white linen pants. Just look at the back and adjust the proportions there as well.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Something you would never be caught dead in.
I shouldn't answer this because every time I say
Then
I end up wearing it. It used to be PVC, but then I recently wore PVC for a costume party. So, I don't know. I think there's nothing that I would not be. Yeah, I'm happy to try.
More open.
Yeah, anything. Maybe not a thong on the beach. Yeah, I think that's what I would do.
I don't think I can see you in a thong.
Yeah.
Favorite homegrown fashion labels right now?
It would be very tough to name people, Sherry, because this list is endless, and I like different people for different things they do.
And I think you do most on your Instagram. So I guess
do a
follow
lot.
Anaita because
Exactly.
every day she's posting about like new stuff.
Yeah, and I also feel that this term new is so relative, because for me it's like what you're doing at this point. You may be a 20-year-old brand, but what you're doing today is what matters, right? Because that's what I'm going to go out and buy.
Yeah.
But also, having said that, enjoy the pieces that are already in your wardrobe. Wear them again and again. Don't feel like you have to buy new things all the time. But yeah, just so proud of Indian talent.
If you could style someone that you haven't styled yet, who would that be?
Well, the two that I've come close
considering
to.
you've done like your favorite person.
Oh, of course, yes. I forget. The biggest star sitting next to me. I think I used to think it was Madonna. I still think it's Madonna.
Yeah. Madonna. Okay. Answer the next few in one word. Okay. Best dressed celebrity according to you?
No one.
No one.
No, I don't think there's a best dressed celebrity. I think people dress differently on different days. So it's very subjective.
Okay. Favorite designer right now?
Shari, I can't name people like this. I'm very sorry. This is my business. I don't name favorites. I've never done it. I've never rated people.
But
I've never
like
done.
your personal style.
No. I can't name people.
Anaita's being very cagey.
No, I just never have. Maybe that's why I have a career.
If you could wear one thing for the rest of your life,
Jeans and ganji and jeans.
Jeans for the rest of your life?
Rest
Would
of
you
my
wear a
life.
dress?
I wear jeans, I think 80% of my life.
Actually, you do wear a lot of jeans.
I'd wear a bikini under it so I could take it off and swim. Yeah. I don't need anything else. Yeah.
Okay. Complete the following, okay? Bollywood fashion is?
Inspirational.
Fashion to you is?
Life. Fun.
Okay. And
Everything.
the last bit
Yeah.
of advice for people that want to get into fashion in any space, what would it be? Like, would you say today the best thing is to study fashion or to intern with someone? What would it be?
I mean, I used to say that, like, people say, oh, you haven't studied fashion. Why do you tell people to study? So I think it's not necessary if you've been brought up on that. I mean, like, for me, like, I don't know if people realize that we had a very fashionable family. Like, our grandfather only wore suits. He wore bespoke pajamas. And he didn't
pink pajama.
Yeah, he didn't like ready to wear. So it was a very different upbringing. Mom in her heyday was very hip and always wore like high heels, 6-inch heels and like bell bottoms and these printed like forest green shirts. My dad was very, also into the flared jeans and like bomber corduroy jackets, handlebar, mustache, sideburns, so the whole 60s vibe. But they were into fashion. I mean, as in it wasn't their obsession or their mainstay, but fashion was a way of life. I don't know what point I was getting at, but so if you haven't had that, then yeah, study fashion. Do I wish I could study fashion? Yes, a little bit. Sometimes I feel I'm at a loss for terms and all, but as a stylist, I don't think it makes a difference to me. But you do have to know history of fashion. You can study that wherever you are. It doesn't have to be in an institute or in a college. But if you're a designer, yes, you must study. And work hard. I mean, like I always say, like work with people that you admire.
Yeah.
But it's not very easy. Like I get like 100 intern requests. I don't hire so many people because, like you said, I'm very hands-on and I like to do things myself. But yeah, work your way up. Follow your passion. It's endless. It's endless. The dream. Live it.
Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you always have requested a video with Anaita, and I think this is the first time we've done like a sit down for lunch.
Absolutely. With yummy food, by the way, at Neuma. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for doing this. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and comment below with any more questions you have for Anaita. I will try and
I won't be answering them. Because I'll be taking a nap after this. Well, see you guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.